Hi everyone, this is Dr. Shiva. Today we're continuing with our series on pet health. Many of you know that a couple of days ago, I promised all of you that I would continue this series that we wanted to do on pet health. I'm traveling, as some of you may know, with our volunteers all over the state of Utah. We're doing training sessions and inspiring them to get on the ground to collect signatures. But as a scientist and the research work I do, I did promise you guys that we would continue the educational videos, sharing with everyone, what's from a whole system standpoint, what are the components from our research that reveal what's really good to support whole health for your pet. So that's what we're going to talk about today. But today we're going to focus in this pet health series on hyaluronic acid for joint health. Right, so that's what we're going to focus on today. So I hope this is valuable for all of you. Again, to everyone new, many of you know, in addition to running for office, I also work as a full-time scientist. And for many, many years, one of my goals is to support health for all beings. We've done a lot of videos, as many of you know, during 2020, educating people, 2019, even before that. Educating people on the importance of immune health, right? We profoundly help save hundreds of millions of people's lives from the feedback that we've gotten, talking about vitamin D3, quercetin, K2, iodine, all these wonderful things, which are nutrients. Ideally, you can get these from natural sources. But there are some wonderful foods out there, which can obviously help us. Food is medicine. But they can also help your pet. So I'm going to cover today briefly what we covered last week. In the future, as we get the series going, we'll do a short video which will summarize what I did in my original video. So let me jump right into this, and let's go right into hyaluronic acid for pet joint health. And this is part of our K9-701 whole systems approach series. So first, quick disclaimer, this is content is not intended to be a substitute for your professional vet advice, diagnosis, or treatment. You should always seek the advice of your veterinarian with any questions you may have regarding the medical condition of your pet. So if we look at what we did, the first educational video we did in the series was called Pet Health Series, and it was called Introducing Pet Health Series. So you guys can go look at that video. We'll put a link into this video, and it's on whole systems approach. I'm not going to go review all of this, but what I did start that conversation about was when I got my two pups. These guys are interesting pups. They're called Native American Indian dogs. Sequoia's on the left and Geronimo's on the right, brother and sister. They look very different, but they're from the same litter. I was very interested in a whole systems approach for both of them. And I was very interested in using our technology, Cytosolve, which you can see in the previous video, in the first one in the series. But I was interested in really supporting not only one part of their health, but joint health, immune health, metabolic health, bone health, and anti-parasitic, brain health, skin health, anti-cancer, heart health, all those things, right? And all of these systems, when you take an engineering systems approach, or from a traditional medicines approach, you realize that they're all connected. So the goal was, what are the things that you could put in, let's say, a whole food matrix that would support them? And in order to discover that in a scientific way, it wasn't like, hey, this is what I think. We really looked at the whole body of literature out there, used our informatics approach with Cytosolve to really identify among the many, many ingredients, a core set that would support all those functions, okay? As I just shared here. So all those functions, just to give you an idea, is all of these functions here, okay? And what we promised was that we would share with you what some of those components were and then do detailed videos on each one, okay? So if you look at this, we did a whole research report called Pet Health, a whole systems approach. And we identified a set of compounds. Now, there's probably many different foods or compounds you could use, but these seemed, from the work we did with one of our close colleagues in the pet industry, who've been looking at this, we found that these are some very, very diverse, highly diverse components, which could really support this whole systems approach. So one of it is zeolite, the other is diatomaceous earth, spirulina, kelp, MSM, red raspberry leaf, hawthorn leaf and flower, fenugreek, turmeric, and hyaluronic acid. So if you look at it, that's about 10 different items, 3, 6, 9, 10. And if you just look at this, they're all from, some of them are compounds like hyaluronic acid, like MSM, zeolite. Others are, herbs and foods, turmeric, fenugreek, the hawthorn leaf, the red raspberry, the kelp, and the spirulina. And then you have something like diatomaceous earth, which is really, a very complex mineral that includes silica, all different kinds of components. But this is what we have. In fact, if you're interested, there's a product called K9-701. You can go to our shop and get it. But our idea was, could we create a whole systems approach? So this is what we want to talk about over the next series. But from an educational process, this is a synergistic approach. But we want to today talk about one of those components, hyaluronic acid, right? So we're going to focus today on hyaluronic acid, as we discussed, just one of those elements in that synergistic complex and its effect on joint health, okay? So that's what we're going to focus on today. So let's jump right into it. So when you look at this, we want to really talk about how does hyaluronic acid from K9-701 affect pet health. So what is hyaluronic acid? For those of you who are interested in chemical formula, and I really love these organic chemistry structural diagrams, hyaluronic acid is a naturally occurring polymer of repeating disaccharide units. So a polymer is where you have a repetitive structure that keeps repeating. So here you have D-glucuronic acid, which is this structure over here, right? These two pieces, this one and this piece, it's the same structure, and N-acetyl D-glucosamine. So you notice here's N-acetyl D-glucosamine. So here's the D-glucuronic acid, here's the N-acetyl D-glucosamine, and these two then connect with an O group connected to the other group. And now this hyaluronic acid is found in prokaryotic as well as eukaryotic organisms. That means plants as well as animals. And the key role is cushioning and lubricating the body. And it's clinically shown to protect cartilage, okay? And so where do you find it? In animal sources, you find high quantities. Obviously, it's also in plant, but high quantities in bone broth or organ meats and fish eyeballs. If you look at many traditional cultures, they would include this in their diet, right? It may seem sort of, some people may say, what are you talking about, fish eyeballs? But many cultures would eat the fish heads and the fish eyeballs in particular, the organ meats and bone broth. So these are natural sources of hyaluronic acid in high concentration. Now, these are the foods that boost the production of hyaluronic acid. They may not have it, but they're the source for it: root vegetables, soy-based foods, citrus fruit, leafy greens. Now, when you look at soy-based, you have to be careful. The fermented soy is very different than the soy you get in the stores like tofu. They have very different effects. So typically it's a fermented soy-based foods, root vegetables, citrus fruit, and leafy greens. So I want to give you that caveat here. But these foods allow your body to produce hyaluronic acid, okay? And here are the biological effects of hyaluronic acid. For obviously your pets, it supports tissue hydration, right? Which means your tissues get hydrated, they don't get dehydrated. Lubrication, the structural integrity in the cells and tissue. And it also supports anti-angiogenic and immunosuppressive effects, right? As well as you have to be careful that there are things that can cause pro-inflammatory, pro-angiogenic effects, that this suppresses those, okay? So one of the things that improves cartilage regeneration, improves skin hydration, very important for pets, uh, promotes wound healing, regulates aging of the skin, and it also facilitates um, targeted drug delivery for tumor treatment. So there are people who found that in the area of cancer, obviously in late stages, um, that it facilitates targeted drug delivery. So some of these chemotherapy agents aren't going everywhere and causing side effects. They can go to specific areas. So that's sort of broadly all the things hyaluronic acid does. But when it comes to your pet, as we promised, we want to focus on joint health. For many, many years, we spent about a 5-year project with the University Health Network Arthritis Program in the Division of Orthopedics at Toronto, Ontario, and Cytosolve worked with them. And we really mapped out all the molecular systems of joint health. And we did a detailed analysis of it. And what we found out was there are 4 major mechanisms, if you're looking at your pet, or for that matter, you, that you need to be focused on if you really want to have joint health. One is you want to reduce inflammation. And there's all these inflammatory pathways. You want to reduce oxidative stress, and there's different mechanisms. You want to really reduce cartilage degeneration, and then you want to increase cartilage regeneration. So if you want to really talk about joint health, the inflammation, the oxidative stress, and cartilage degeneration you want to bring down in your pets. And then cartilage regeneration, you want to increase. And if you look at these 4 chemicals, these are the 4 chemicals that are indicative of that. So PGE2, ROS, and MMPP13 are low, you're achieving joint health relative to inflammation, oxidative stress, and cartilage degeneration. And if collagen 2 levels are high, you're achieving cartilage regeneration. So let's look at how this happens. So we want to focus today on hyaluronic acid. Well, hyaluronic acid, from our research at Cytosolve, shows that hyaluronic acid supports, look at this, cartilage regeneration, which stops joint disease. But hyaluronic acid also blocks cartilage degeneration, which, and by the way, cartilage degeneration promotes joint disease, so you're stopping that. So cartilage regeneration involves something that inhibits joint disease, but if your cartilage degeneration promotes it, so hyaluronic acid has a 2-hook effect here. So hyaluronic acid on one level increases cartilage regeneration. On the other hand, it stops cartilage degeneration, right? So that's pretty good. So fundamentally, hyaluronic acid will lower MMPP13 production. MMPP13 is a chemical you do not want in large amounts in your body because it's degenerating cartilage. On the other hand, you want good levels of collagen 2 because that's supporting cartilage regeneration. And that's what hyaluronic acid does, okay? Now, another very powerful cytokine called IL-1 beta. This is an inflammatory cytokine. And if someone were to take your pet's blood or plasma and look at it, and if they looked at how much IL-1 beta there was, and if it's in high amount, that means your pet is undergoing joint disease. And look what hyaluronic acid does. It blocks it. So your body doesn't produce P38 MAPK, which then leads to MMPP13, which causes cartilage degeneration. You get joint disease, okay? So when you take hyaluronic acid, it blocks IL-1 beta from doing this horrible thing, which activates, which inhibits the activation of P38 MAPK. The other thing is, so that's how it stops cartilage degradation, and this is how it supports cartilage regeneration. And so if you're looking at skin, all those really things that people are concerned about, hyaluronic acid will activate AKT enzyme, which produces collagen 2, which supports cartilage regeneration, which blocks joint disease. So increased collagen 2 expression leads to cartilage regeneration and stops joint disease. So again, hyaluronic acid is very valuable there. Now, in our own research, this is from Cytosolve, what we found was that so this is the x-axis is how much hyaluronic acid you should take and how much it lowers MMPP13. MMPP13 is not a good molecule. So we did experimental conditions of dosage of 0, right, the control, 2.5 milligrams and 5 milligrams. As you increase the dosage, you reduce MMPP13. And this is, so under control conditions, MMPP13s were 456, and you're bringing it down. So increased supplementation of hyaluronic acid showed an increasing trend towards lowering MMPP13. And so hyaluronic acid, in many ways, had a low to moderate effect, right? It didn't do it massively if you look at the axis, but it does lower it, but not incredibly, at a massive scale. If you look at collagen 2 production, this is very powerful. Look at here, we're looking at the control, no hyaluronic acid, and you're looking at collagen 2. Here you can see that we looked at 2-day supplementation at 2.5 milligrams and 5, and you can see it really, really increased this by nearly about, 10%. So it went from 1,500, 10% of it would be 150, all the way to 1,650. So beyond the 10 milligram dose, it's really not that significant. So some people think it's more is better for your pets, or for that matter, you. And you can see beyond 5 milligrams, you're just wasting it, okay? So that's an important thing to understand. So again, what we have found is that hyaluronic acid lowers MMPP13, but it really helps increase collagen 2 production. And so you can see that in this diagram here, that cartilage regeneration helps pretty well, but not really here, because the gray means it has no effect. So hyaluronic acid has no effect on arachidonic acid or oxidative stress, very low effect on cartilage degradation, but really good on cartilage regeneration. So in summary, hyaluronic acid is significantly effective in improving cartilage regeneration, and it's low to moderately effective in improving cartilage degradation. So we have put that in K9-701 in addition to all those other things. So again, this is a synergistic formula. And if you want to get it, people have been asking us, you can go to vashiva.com/shop/K9-701. And we're very excited about this. And by the way, you only need a little bit, a teaspoon. If you have a 25-pound pet, only a teaspoon, and you mix it in with their foods. My dogs are around 75 pounds, so I give them 3 teaspoons. Again, it's not a lot that you need. But again, what we've discussed here is a whole systems approach of a complex set of foods and minerals that you can take to support the whole. So in many ways, this is fundamentally a complex food. So I hope this was valuable. And again, this is part of our pet health series. In this very brief video, we've covered hyaluronic acid for pet and joint health. So I hope this was valuable. Again, our goal here is to recognize I do a lot of work on human health, but I wanted to do this because many of you probably have pets and you're trying to figure out, hey, what should I give my pet? And we wanted to really do this to support everything you guys are doing in terms of trying to figure out what are the right things. Again, a little bit, you can go check out K9-701 on vashiva.com in the shop. But I hope this is valuable. But we're going to go through this whole series. We're going to take each one of these substances, be it turmeric or fenugreek or kelp. And so you'll understand how these things affect. By the way, someone's asking, I wonder if this applies to humans. Look, if you remember what pharmaceutical companies do, and I don't support this, they actually test on dogs and animals and rats because they are mammals. They're not exactly similar to us, but they have many similar things to us, right? So relative to the joint health piece, you can apply it by and large to human health also in terms of the molecular pathways are nearly similar. Since this is our health series, I do want to let you know that we also created a combination for human health, and that's called MV25. Remember, our big goal is to teach people that the body is a complex system. The drug companies literally try to give you one compound to affect a particular target, but that has side effects. But when you really start understanding the alchemy of combining foods and minerals in positive ways, it's an alchemical reaction, right? And that's really the art of medicine, of what we're doing. Medicine is both an information science and an art, and there are principles around that. So before I close, I want to let everyone know that we have On the human side, something called MV25, which we also created. I'll play this for you because some of you guys are interested in that. And I wish you all very well. Be well. Again, this is our pet health series, but I'm going to end with something also that's valuable for humans. Here we go.
Millions of people suffer every day from painful discomfort and swelling, but most pain medications come with harsh side effects, and many alternative supplements have little scientific backing. That's why we at CytoSolve created MV25. MV25 was formulated using the CytoSolve Computational Systems Biology Platform, a technology for precision and personalized health invented by Dr. Shiva during his doctoral research at MIT. This formulation is the result of computing trillions of potential combinations of biomolecular interactions derived from thousands of peer-reviewed scientific papers published across 4 decades by 68 research institutions to discover an optimal synergy of compounds that downregulate biomarkers of discomfort and normal swelling.
Hi, I'm Barbara Ann. My hands would cramp up so that I couldn't hold cards or knit or crochet, and they would go like that. And I'd have to use this when I played cards with my grandkids, and I started taking that MV25. After a bit, I was able to hold cards in my hand, very, very little cramping, hardly at all anymore. MV25.
Hi, my name is Sandy. I'm a Taekwondo instructor. I tore my ACL during Taekwondo. I had a lot of pain and limited mobility. I've been taking the MV25 for about 6 months now. After the first week, I noticed a big difference. After the second week, almost literally no pain.
My name is Jeremy, and I suffer from a lower back problem. Hurt my back at work years ago, and I can go to the chiropractor, do all kinds of different things, and nothing seems to help. And I decided to try MV25. I didn't notice a difference immediately, but within a few days the pain went away, and it stayed away. I've continued to take it, and even when I do things that I shouldn't do, it seems to go away a lot quicker than it ever did before.
MV25 is certified clean, 100% non-GMO, made in America, and GMP certified for good manufacturing practices. MV25 is CytoSolve optimized, which means that this formula has been engineered to maximize benefits while minimizing toxicity based on current research curated by CytoSolve. As the science advances, so will this formulation. This is our promise. Order online at mv25.life. Consult your doctor before taking any supplement or medication and use as directed. MV25.
People are asking on the pet stuff, where do you get it? And Deb McIntosh was kind enough to put forward. Sometimes I forget to tell where you guys can actually get it, but if you want to get it, you can go to BeAShiva.com/product/K9-701. So I hope that's helpful. Anyway, everyone, be well, be the light. We'll continue doing the pet health series. We'll go, item by item by item, so you guys can learn and you guys can do your own research. Again, be well, be the light. And again, to those of you who joined a little late, you can go review this video. This video was really our continuation of our pet health series on hyaluronic acid for pet and joint health. Thank you. Be well.